The following show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Audience discretion is advised.
This week on Thespian Talk, we talk heavy. And I mean heavy shit. Consider this a warning, because we are talking about incels. We are talking about a woman in Florida who burns down a house with a very, very unfortunate victim that will make my girlfriend cry when she hears about it. And we talk about da 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 da. And I don't mean the TV show. If you know that what I mean, it's suicide. We talk suicide a little bit. Consider that not only the preview, but also your trigger warnings for this episode. Oh boy! Here we go. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. With me this week is Michelle.
Hello.
And Scolipendra.
Hello.
Who made a surprising appearance on last week's curtain call, which admittedly was a little late, but I got it out.
I may or may not have been slightly tipsy when I recorded that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it. Hey, it was good. I put it in there. But of course, if you guys want to hear that, Patreon, just $1, $1 per month. You get the bonus stuff. But no, man, it was good. Very entertaining.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of entertaining things, I think I know I've mentioned on this show before that I shiny hunt in Pokemon. And I'm mentioning that just so I can say, while I'm doing this, I am shiny hunting. And for those who are wondering, wait, how the hell are you doing that? It's simple. I've got a device. It does it for me, so I can multitask. Now, that's not to say that I don't shiny hunt in like regular ways either, because just the other day I was doing some chain fishing in Alpha Sapphire, got a shiny Sea King, which... Let me just say, Shiny Sea King's coloration sucks, because it is barely different from the regular one.
Also, it looks really derpy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sea King looks derpy. I mean, Sea King's derpy anyway. But...
Yeah.
But that looks extra derpy from that picture you showed.
Yeah. I mean, there's a, like... I haven't heard it in any recent episodes of the Pokemon anime, but like those first couple of years... When they would like vocalize it, it'd be like Sea King. Like, yeah, that just adds on to the derp. I mean, you might expect it from Magikarp, but not from Sea King.
Magikarp.
Yeah.
Corp.
Oh. But yeah, and oh god, and Animal Crossing turnip prices this week for me are bad. Like I bought them at like 100 something, and the prices have just kept going down. I haven't checked them for this afternoon yet, but it was like 50 something, and then lower 50 something, and now 40 something. Like, goddamn! Oh fucking hell! But it's like playing the real stock market. Which if there was a way I could reform it and change the paradigm to where stocks would go up the better the companies treat their employees and not fuck over their customers,
that would be amazing.
I would do that in a heartbeat. In fact, if money was not an issue for me, any company that would treat its workers better, pay them a living wage, and not price gouge all out the ass, I would give them so much of my money in stocks, business. They would have a loyal customer out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, customer loyalty has to be kind of pragmatic at this point. Case in point, Walmart. Had to run there early. Had to make a Walmart run earlier because I ran out of water. And I know some people are like, wait, don't you have tap water? Tap water gives me a headache. So, but isn't bottled water just glorified tap water? They do things to it. It's a weird thing with me. I don't know why, but whatever, And I want to note that while I was at this Walmart, the Walmart in Chipley, Florida, yes, I'm calling out that specific Walmart, because if I had $1 for every goddamn stupid motherfucker walking around without a mask, like, goddamn people. These are people with young children doing this. And it's not just guys. It's not just white people either. It's like a whole bunch of people. It's like, you fucking morons. There's still a pandemic going around. I mean, you need a mask. I will show you where you can get masks. You'll have to wait for them to arrive from Oregon, but you can get masks. So, I mean, Mella's not the only person who can sell masks, I know. But, I pimp out her stuff because she does good work.
Yeah.
So she's earned it. And that leads into this first thing that I got. And I know we haven't done like how the week has been yet, but this thing is just, is just so... So there's a thing that's been going around that conservatives have been trying to pass around. And it says as follows. I am exempt from the governor's regulation mandating face mask usage in public. Wearing a face mask poses a health risk to me. Now, before I go further, there are law of averages, there are people who legitimately would be a health risk to wear a face mask. Legitimately. So, take that in mind as we go through. And whatever I say past this point does not intend to demean them or tell them that they're scum or anything. This is for the people who use that as an excuse without any other underlying health reasons. Okay? So if you legitimately cannot do it, that's one thing. And also, there are other alternatives. So, you can still keep yourself safe. And others. So, under the ADA and the HIPAA, HIPPA, I am not required to disclose my medical conditions to you. And they leave numbers for the Department of Justice, ADA violation, 800 number. Organizations and businesses can be fined up to $75,000 for the first ADA violation and $150,000 for any subsequent violations. To all government agents, please provide lawful and necessary consideration to aid the bearer in the unimpeded exercise of their constitutionally protected rights. Thank you for understanding and assistance. Now, here's the thing. I don't even have to really look up anything, though, I did anyway, to verify. Number one, HIPAA? That does not apply here. That applies to medical professionals. Hospitals and shit like that. HIPAA is what keeps the doctors from just outright killing your ass because you have kidneys that match their daughter. Very specific, but you get the idea. And yeah, I know, hashtag not all doctors do that, but whatever. HIPAA is the law that keeps your ass in line. Now the ADA... That's another thing altogether. And here's another thing, and this supersedes all of this, all of this argument here. If you are one of these assholes who simply does not want to wear a mask because, it's not manly, or, it can never happen to me, I don't have the COVID. Number one, you could have it and just not be showing any symptoms, and thus could pass it on to somebody else. And number two, most importantly, this does not apply because the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Most of us could have it. Many people have either been infected or died from it. I think we're coming up to 100,000 in the United States having died from it. One of my personal friends has gotten it, at least one. There might be others, I don't know. And that's a scary as shit thing that has to happen. So wear your damn face masks, wash your hands, take all your necessary precautions. And if you come to me saying, well, it's my constitutional right, well, guess what? It's my constitutional right not to die because you want to be a selfish prick. So wear your damn face mask. My right to live trumps your right to be comfortable. And again,
I like the
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I like the quote that Owen Morgan always uses. Your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly.
Oh, goddamn. So now that that's out of my system, Michelle, how have you been?
thanks. I had the stupid argument with myself this morning.
Uh-oh.
So, all right. So, kind of a two-fold thing. I filled out the wrong unemployment form, and it turns out the form I need to fill out, he needs to fill bits and pieces anyway. So he got annoyed with me because I did it wrong, and I didn't tell him straight away. But he was stressed out about the whole washing machine situation. But
Yeah.
that's beside the point. We sorted that out.
Yeah.
But then he was like, "Oh, this is interesting," and then when he says this is interesting, it usually means it's going to be bullshit. He's like, so there's this article that I've just read on, I think he said it was Babel or somewhere,
Uh-oh.
about how using gender neutral language is a violation of my rights.
The
And I was
fuck?
like, what? Why are you bringing this up with me? You know we are not going to agree. I respect. Look, I'm not saying necessarily that I think we should have a completely gender neutral, like, you know, they, them. I mean, I'm happy to use they, them. I've never met anyone who uses they. But, you know, if they did, I would respect that. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should definitely have just gender neutral all day, every day. That's not, you know, I'm happy being a she.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the article is basically saying, I'm not going to use that person's identity because it affects me. I'm like, and I said to him, but how does it affect you? Anyway, we got into some stupid, and he says, I'm not a, like when you call me a cis man. I said, well, you are a cis man. I'm not a cisgender man, I'm just a man. Like, yes, that's what it means. And like, we don't need cis then. Like, so I actually asked Google, and she gave a because we had to ask twice because sometimes she didn't give the whole answer. So I said, hey Google, define cisgendered male, and she gave a definition which basically boils down to opposite of trans.
Yeah?
A cis is opposite to trans. It's alright, Google, we're fine. Google, stop!
Oh, no!
Bless her. I tried to say it quietly as well.
Oh, no.
It's like, you're not trans, therefore you're cis. Oh, I'm not. So you're basically proving my argument. You do not want to be referred to as cis. If I told you that, that is me violating your choice not to be called cis. How is that different from what you're saying that you shouldn't call people by their preferred pronouns?
Yeah.
The stupidest part is he does, you know, recognise that trans people exist. He does, you know, accept that, you know, people should be treated with a certain amount of dignity. But it might inconvenience me, so why should I?
Yeah.
And it's this whole thing about how progressives are trying to ruin the world and like, oh, everyone's got to be this and that. Like, that's not what progressives are saying. I don't necessarily even agree with everything progressives say. I don't actually always agree with modern feminism. I qualify it as modern feminism because historical feminism has done a lot of good.
Yeah.
But like some of the stuff modern feminists say, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But to just go around and he was just stop. And I said, look, you've brought up an argument that you know I'm not going to agree with you on, just to have the argument. And then you say, oh, you've lost. But he's in bed now. It occurred to me last for a second. Yeah, in another argument, he's like, well, it's not about winning. It's not about winning. It's not about winning. But you just said that I lost. So is it about winning or is it not about winning?
Exactly.
So yeah, he's a cis man.
Yeah. He is a cis dude.
And also, I through looking up some research because he was going on about his whole it was about a whole Piers Morgan thing about two-spirit penguin. I was looking at it with general terms because I was actually curious about, you know, what is there like a definition for genders and stuff, and like it was a thing about, you know, there is gender fluid people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware, either of you, that the two-spirit thing is actually an indigenous belief that like the people. I think this is a Canadian website because it mentioned the Indigenous folk of Canada specifically. But the Europeans came around and whipped it out of them or whatever, you know.
Yes, of course they did.
Actually, the people saying they're two-spirit, some of them might be just saying, oh, I'm two-spirit because it's a term I've heard and I think it's cool and like attention-seeking. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But if in actual historical terms, it is like a whole cultural, religious, you know, belief thing that they had, that they are not one person, not another, like they are this fluid two-spirit thing within inside themselves. And that's just like the very loose definition, but it sounds kind of cool, so I might look into it a bit more. So not only are you disregarding people's self-identity? But in that specific case, you're also kind of insulting an entire culture.
Yeah. Just, people.
Also, you reacted when I said babble. So what was that? Is this a notorious site?
I've come to, my brain has come to the point to where when you bring up arguments you have and the arguments in question, like, you know, the right versus left, that sort of argument there, you mention a site and my first thought is, oh boy.
Oh, so you don't necessarily know anything specifically about this particular site. It's just like, oh god, they said something about something.
Yeah, it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction on that one.
Oh, okay. So I was wondering, is there something about Bamble that I should know about that would be interesting to the conversation? But
yeah, it's again knee-jerk reaction on my part.
Okay, I just thought maybe there's something to be said there as well. Yeah,
because it's like there have been too many times I would talk with people just over the years, and then this site would be brought up or that site would be brought up, and it would be like, oh boy, what is this? And then it turns out that my fears were very well founded. And by well founded, I mean, oh, these are the assholes. Like these are the assholes who would lick Trump's boot all day long. You know, those kind of assholes. They would be the Mike Pences, because if you guys haven't seen Leon Thomas's video on Mike Pence,
I found it fascinating. That was fascinating.
That man he and Mitch McConnell would, you know, if you were to ship politicians, and disclaimer, please don't, that's creepy as fuck, but if you're going to do it anyway and you ship these two, remember they both are for sale. And by that, I mean, they will go wherever the power tells them. Which, for both of them, means subjugating everybody else who isn't rich and white and Christian.
Also, if you're going to ship politicians, at least ship hot ones.
Well, I mean, there is that. I mean, for example, I ship Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with her boyfriend, because I think she is in a relationship. No, but seriously, that is a little creepy.
It is.
Now you bring it up, I'd probably ship AOC with me, but that's just, you know, bisexual awakening talking.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scully, how are you today?
Yes.
Doing all right. Just kind of got up and had some coffee, basically. Kind of all I did. Just kind of on Discord too. Just kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Doing stuff in my servers. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's this other thing I've got here, and I forget where exactly I found it, which social media site I found it on. But
it's the thing we did last week. It's Twitter.
Oh no, I've got the thing we did last week, and we'll do 4 more of those in a moment. But
cool.
But what I'm looking at here is this letter that was sent to somebody by one of those homeowner association type people. You know the ones.
Yeah.
The ones they think they own the entire neighborhood, or that's like.
Oh, well, those NIMBY people.
Yep. So it reads as such: "Dear neighbor," quotation marks, by the way. "You just moved into this neighborhood a year ago, and I wanted to give you time to correct this problem on your own, but you are apparently too inconsiderate to do so. Every day this week, when weather has been nice and windows are open, you proceed to let your small child run free in your backyard and laugh and giggle and carry on without end. This is very disruptive for my 2 dogs and my bird who sits next to the window and like to look down into your yard. Perhaps you could ask him to tone it down a bit, or at least limit his outside time to, oh, get this, 15 to 20 minutes a day, so my dogs can be outside without seeing him running around. If this kind of behavior persists, I will call the police."
And the police will laugh at you and fucking tell you to get a life.
Yes! It's like, okay, so first of all, even most... In fact, I'm going to venture and say pretty much every child-free person I know personally would look at this chick, would look at this chuckle fuck and give them the fucking bird. because
yeah.
they understand the child, unless the child is like trying to Dennis the Menace them, no reason for it. They're just out in the backyard running around having fun. You know, most houses we're pretty soundproofed, you know, considerably. You know, obviously it's not perfect, but you know, it's enough that if like my next door neighbors had like say grandkids over or whatever, they were in the backyard, I probably would never know it. Probably. And vice versa, if like we had cousins come over and they were in the backyard, or second cousins by this point, holy shit, I feel old. You know.
I know, right?
Yeah. But point is, vice versa would also be in effect. And if the dogs go out there and they see the kids and they react, that's what dogs do.
They probably want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Becky's got a few dogs, and whenever they go outside, they'll bark at anything that runs by.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think Sydney will ever grow into her ears?
Oh, probably. I hope so.
I hope she doesn't.
But but yeah, just goddamn. And then just the time limit, 15 to 20 minutes a day. Lady, I'm assuming lady, could be a dude, but I'm assuming lady. Were you never a child? Because let me tell you something. Miss Trunchbull tried to pull that I was never a child bit. And you know what? That's still bullshit.
Yeah.
She was even called out on it in the book. Surely you were a child for a little bit, Miss Trunchbull. Well, not for very long. I grew out of it very quickly. Bullshit.
I was never a teenager. But I say that in the way that I was never a teenager in the way other teenagers were in the 80s and 90s.
I mean, I was a teenager. I was a kid. You know, I think we all were.
But I just mean that, you know, I didn't do the same thing teenagers of the time were doing.
Let's see. What I was doing as a teenager, yeah, probably mostly not the same. I mean, I did a few things similar, but, you know, I didn't even start drinking until my mid-20s, so.
Well, I started drinking at 8. Well, social family drinking at parties, like shandies and stuff, probably when I was about 12, 13. Proper drinking at 18, but hey, England. I've said this before. My dad used to brew his own wine, and
Nice.
for where we were living at the time, I know I couldn't have been more than 12 when he did it because we moved before when I was about 12.
Yeah.
I said to him, "Did you ever let us try your wine or something?" No, I don't think so. And my sister's like, "You probably just snuck some." So I just think if you're making wine in the family home and you're under supervision, letting the children try it, even just to taste it, isn't unreasonable because it takes away the mystique. And my family are quite chill about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my family seemed to deny the fact that they gave me wine when I was a kid, but they probably did. Probably let me try a little bit.
Yeah.
It was definitely around the house when we had parties and stuff. So
yeah, I know that.
So probably since I was in single figures, I've been drinking.
Yeah. See, I know we had the option growing up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my parents were both clear. Hey, you want to try a drink? You try it here, so we can keep an eye on you. You want to smoke? Same thing. That's why my brother cousin, not a Mormon thing, he's biologically cousin, adopted. So, for those who that know about him, he got busted with cigarettes in school like long damn time ago, and he, for whatever reason, he kept it hidden from everybody that he was smoking at the time. He didn't smoke at the house, even though my parents blatantly said, "Hey, you want to try that? Do it here. We'll keep an eye on you. You know, if something happens." But of course, you know, him being dumbass young teenager self, you know, he did it at school, got busted with it at school. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll let you guys judge how this punishment is, but as punishment, my dad forced him to finish smoking the rest of the pack that afternoon.
I mean, that's a fairly common punishment from what I've seen from media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never done that, but I tried smoking once, didn't like it.
Nah, it never appealed to me. Dope, but they were cigarettes.
I think the closest I came to actually smoking was trying a hookah bar once. Which, interestingly enough, there was this one in Tallahassee we went to when I was during my second go around in college, and I mentioned we were going there, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Dude, what? You're going to a hookah bar? What?" I'm like, "What? That's where they get the marijuana." Bear in mind, she didn't know better at the time.
Oh, bless.
So, and it's like it's probably just like flavorless tobacco type stuff, and that's basically what it was.
Mm.
So I was like, "All right, cool." Yeah, belly dancers too. They were cute.
Did you get a buzz then, or was it just like,
Nah, it was just whatever. I mean, the smoke itself was cool, but it's like didn't really do anything for me.
No, fair enough.
Oh, although if I want to get high, I have edibles. Ha 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 ha.
Nice.
Just going over to Illinois and get them.
Woohoo. Oh, I saw that on like a few medias. I think it got posted in the server as well. So weed is now illegal, but can't go get a haircut. The hippies won.
Yep.
That was brilliant.
Although if you're really jonesing for a haircut, just do what I did and try it yourself.
I trimmed like a couple of like centimeters off. I just because my hair's really long, it's like halfway down my back again.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like washed it and then hung upside down and just like trimmed off the ends. And because it is so long, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel a bit better that I've made an attempt to tidy it. Sorry, what did you do?
So me, I just took some electric trimmers or whatever to it, and got the front and the sides kind of okay, but the back always leaves some to be desired because it's the back.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing with one piece right now that's like kind of a little longer than the rest. I really should trim it down, but I also don't necessarily care enough.
My uncle did his hair. Well, he said he did his hair, and it looked quite good because we have a weekly bingo Zoom sessions.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah, and everybody hopping on the Zoom train when Discord has been there the entire time.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
The first time we did it, it kept crashing. My sister ran out of like her session time, and I was like texting her and texting my nephew. I was like, Discord's a thing, and I said to my nephew, she does know Discord's a thing. He's like, I know, I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Discord is free.
Yes, free, unlimited. You can. I mean, I've never been in a video chat. Like in the groups I'm in, nobody's sort of done the video chatting thing. But I'm assuming you have as many windows as you want in there, like for people talking.
I think
you can do the screen. You can do the screen share thing, so we can still have the bingo board up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, something that Michelle hinted at just a moment ago, started it last week. There is this thing going around on Twitter where it's one of those hit a like for one opinion on things or what have you. This one has 64 things. We went through 4 of them last week, and we are going in reverse order. So we're starting at number 60. And I just decided, you know what? Let's make this a thing. I was originally going to do 8, but the 4 that we ended up with last week ended up taking a while, so it's like, let's limit it to 4. And right off the bat, number 60, opinions on suicide. That's a hell of a starting place.
Talking.
Huh?
I was gonna say we've talked a lot. Does Scully want to get on this first?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh boy, starting with a heavy one, aren't we? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, sorry, man.
It's fine. Well, God, man, this is gonna get personal. I've sort of, debated doing it before in the past. I decided against it, obviously, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, God, I mean, I don't think that someone should do it, but, like, I mean, mental illness or, anything else like that, I mean, it messes with your brain. It makes your brain lie to you and convinces you that you would be better off dead. Like, I mean, there are cases where it's completely understandable, like, say you've got like some terminal illness that's going to make you die a slow, agonizing death, or you have dementia and you want to die with all your memories and stuff intact. I mean, that I understand why someone would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, though, like, jeez. Basically, the one thing that, sorta, the one thing that made me change my mind about doing it when I was considering it is like, oh god, someone's gonna have to find my body. Nope, not doing that.
I mean, and I've honestly over the years I've had similar things, similar mindsets, where I've thought about it as like, because it was just everything is just, oh god, what the fuck, let's make this stop. But then I realized that if I were to do it, there are a bunch of people who would miss me and who would honestly be hurt. It would hurt them a lot more than I am hurting now. And while the faces and the players have changed over the years, nowadays, if that were to pop up, I would have to remember, all of my friends, my family. I'd have to remember specifically Becky, because that would just destroy her, and I couldn't do that. And that's just a very mostly broad sense of it. So it's like I couldn't do it. Just can't do it. Though I will say there's one time where, because a lot of times when we hear about somebody committing suicide or what have you, it's usually very tragic. I think Robin Williams, for example, very, very tragic, and it's sad. But then you have people that do it just to avoid having to deal with consequences. And one of those people has sparked some movements that we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Blimey.
Yeah. And then there's also others that's a little one. But point being is, for most people, it's either tragic or understandable. And then you have assholes that do it because they're fucking cowards. And I've also seen, and I'm going to get to a smidge bit of furry drama for this one, because as I've mentioned on this show before, the formatting and sort of the style was based off of Two Griffin's show Two Cents. Helped inspire me to start this one rather. And one of Two's things when it came to suicide was the whole tough love thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna commit suicide, and he would be like, no, fucking do it, man, go ahead, do it. And his logic, I'm not saying it's right, his logic was, if you try and do that to them, they're either going to do it or they're gonna not do it, if nothing else than to spite you. Which doesn't always work. And you still look like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he is...
I mean, I have met someone who had that sort of logic before. I don't think it really holds up. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, if you were really suicidal, you would just do it. You wouldn't say, okay, but what if they did do it?
Yeah.
What if they were serious about it? Then you just look like a sociopath.
Yeah?
I mean, I guess it's the line of how serious were they? Are they seriously reaching out for help, or did you just push them over the edge?
I know, right? And full disclosure, at one point I had a similar thought to what Two had. But here's another thing, and yeah, I'm taking this opportunity to make this particular stab. I grew and evolved over time, so I don't really believe that anymore.
Yeah,
he still believes that apparently.
Ooh.
So,
oh boy,
yeah.
There you go.
See, it's like he swallowed an Everstone and never shat it out.
Wow.
And for those who need help, an Everstone keeps a Pokemon from evolving. So he never evolved. Michelle, do you have any thoughts you want to add in?
Basically everything you guys have said. When I was a little bit younger, I did. I mean, this is again this conversation I've had with my sister before. Like, we both kind of had the idea that it's selfish. But then as I grew and I learned more about mental health conditions, I was like, oh, okay. And then obviously I understood about terminal illnesses. I was like, oh, okay, there may be certain... like, I think even in my younger days, I may have understood the terminal illness argument. But the people who just kill themselves and you don't find out their whole story, I was like, oh, they're just selfish people. I've now come to understand, no, there could be a whole bunch of reasons, a whole lot of reasons. So it is complicated, it is messy. I would rather no one had to do that or had to face that, or if they. So I self-report people on Twitter if I think they're being fat. And fun, especially when you get the report back saying, "Hey, this person's been banned." Like, yes. But on a couple of occasions, the reasons I've decided to report a person is because the responses they've received, or sometimes it's just like the "oh, kill yourself" thing, which you kind of can say, "oh, they're probably just being dicks and not actually meaning it." But some people have. I've seen some cases where people responded in a way that there's like, "you've ruined my life. I feel like I have no way out." And Twitter does have one of their categories is this person promoting self-harm or whatever. So I had occasion to tick that box, and when I've done that, the thing it does, and I'm assuming it does my local Samaritans, and like regionally it would go to somebody else's local Samaritans, but it actually, Twitter provides the helpline number if you report this person as promoting self-harm, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know if I've never been as deeply down the spiral as it sounds like you two have been, and I'm sorry for you guys for that, but there have been moments where I've kind of gone dark. Like, there's a building, or a couple of buildings, but one near us that I know people have jumped from, and occasionally I've never actually done it, but I was like, what if you just stood on the edge? Like, would someone come along and just talk to me and like say, hey, what's going on? Like, is that a good way to sort of seek help? When you can't, you're not sure if you can reach out, because there are centres around me that help younger people, and obviously there are Samaritans in other places, but as an adult it's harder to seek help, so I can understand where people can fall into the spirals. But yeah, so sorry, I'm going to waffle mode again. To sum up,
you're okay.
Medical, assisted suicides, Dignitas, that kind of stuff, yeah, I can see the value in that, if it's, especially if they are in still sound mind and like dementia is going to take that away from them, then they should have that choice. And this is regardless of age. Like, if a younger person has a terminal illness, yes, it's sad, but if they've decided that they'd rather go out their way than the disease's way, then they should be allowed that choice. Because when we say about dementia and terminal disease, we usually think of older people, but no, it does happen to younger people as well.
It does.
But if it's anything like depression related, any other kind of mental illness, then I'd rather see people get the help than to take that final stab.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so let's brighten it up with number 59, democracy.
Woohoo!
Hell yeah!
Yeah. I mean, in and of itself, I mean, obviously it's a good thing, it lets everybody decide things and the things as a whole, instead of just one or two people deciding things for everybody else. Even though the way our democracy in particular is set up, we elect the people and they represent us, even though not everybody agrees on the same leader. It is more complicated than the schools try to tell you. Because let me tell you something. My House of Representatives representative, to be redundant, is Neil Dunn. And
sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you can make fun of him because he's one of those gun-toting Second Amendment nut jobs.
Oh, gun.
Yeah. So, obviously I didn't vote for him. But he still represents me because I happen to live in his district. So, yeah. It's like they're put in place to represent their constituents, but not all constituents are going to agree. I think democracy in itself can work. I think we just need to overhaul it a bit. There's also this term democratic socialism, where you can have the democracy, but also have the socialism to go with it, so everybody can live and eat and be prosperous and work if they want to work. Because there will be people that's gonna work. You can't stop them, inventions, and they fly the ocean and all that shit. And if you know if you understand that reference, you get a cookie.
I do not. I don't get a cookie.
But
Was that a JoJo reference?
nope, not a
Oh.
JoJo reference.
All right.
So, but no. In all seriousness, it's like, democratic socialism would probably be the best of both worlds. You got the people that have the representatives and power, and then those same people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, or where they're going to sleep at night. So that would be the best of both worlds. So, but in and of itself, democracy, good in theory. We need to overhaul it in practice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could start by abolishing the two-party system.
Yes.
Or at least have a viable third party.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, not third parties that spend their time like kissing up to whichever party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are under the British system. We have first past the post, which is kind of what you hear, but it's like it gets kind of stupid. So it is mostly on popularity, but then it's the one who gets the numbers first kind of is. But we had a few years ago where it was more of a hung parliament, and that's where your third party. So theoretically, your two big parties for us, it's Tories and Labour, could hang to the point where it might be worth them joining up, but they don't. They get the next party, which is the most amount of numbers, and they kind of pick one team or the other, and they become the kingmaker, and then hopefully the alliance will work. It kind of didn't. The Lib Dems kind of went for Tory because they were at that point the Tory had the higher number but not the highest. So yeah, they decided to go with Tories, and some people felt that because they'd hooked up with the Tories, they'd broken their own promises. I don't know if a Lib Dem Labour would have been better, but I'd like to think it would have been. Yeah. But legitimately, the Tories had slightly more votes over the Labour in that instance. But yes, just to feel that if you vote for a third party, that it's actually going to count for something, or at the very least, organising people enough that, you know what, let's just vote for the different person, be it the party or the representative or whatever. Just vote for somebody else. I'm somebody else.
I mean, and that's one of those things. It's like, in theory, that could work. And the problem is, at least with Americans, getting somebody to vote other than Democrat or Republican in large enough numbers.
Oh, it's so tribal. It seems more tribal at the moment, like on both sides, than like both sides of the pond. Well, I guess political systems as well, but
yeah,
it feels like both countries at the moment have a lot of tribalism going on more than usual.
Yeah. I mean, and I admit being guilty of it to some degree myself. Although, granted, my tribes are, hey, let's help everybody versus the tribe of fuck you, I've got mine.
Yes.
That's at least that's where I want to be. Whether I'm actually there or not, or need to work on it to get there, we'll work it out. But that's where I want to be. The let's help everybody that we can.
Yes.
And we can do that by literally taking from the rich and literally giving to the poor.
Oh, but distribution of wealth is evil. Sorry, that was also what came up in our conversation this morning.
Yeah. But no. Let's move on to the next one. Kaczynski.
Who? Bless you?
Kaczynski. Isn't that Theodore Kaczynski? Wasn't he the Unabomber? If I remember right.
That could be a different Kaczynski, like from, I think that's,
Hang on, let me ask.
Poland at some point.
Google. Yeah. Who or what is Kaczynski?
According to Wikipedia, Theodore John Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber, is an
I was right!
terrorist, anarchist, and former mathematics professor who was a mathematics prodigy, but he abandoned his academic career in 1969 to pursue a more primitive lifestyle.
Thanks.
Yep, I was right. So yes, the Unabomber. Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. It was like an eco-fascist, I think. So yeah, fuck him.
Yeah. And I'm all...
Plus he was, a terrorist, so fuck him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, going with like the whole help everybody. You know what would help everybody? Taking care of the goddamn environment. Yes. I ain't perfect, but I try to do my part. But take care of the damn environment. And that means going up against some of these big corporations. Now, going around and bombing the fuck out of them is not necessarily a good idea. Because then that's a waste of a building for one thing.
Yeah.
And you would also be hitting the lay people just doing their fucking jobs.
Yep.
You're hitting the people at the bottom and not the ones at the top. Which, by the way, disclaimer, don't physically go after most billionaires. There are some that are acceptable, but for the most part, don't. Because it's just, no. Humiliate the fuck out of them. There are much worse fates than death. And with the exception of maybe one or two, most of them have done things that are reversible. So,
yeah.
But yeah. Any thoughts on the old Unabomber?
I don't really know, apart from what's just happened. I don't remember the story. I don't remember the thing. But if he's a terrorist that blew up people, then yeah, fuck him.
Are we on? Oh.
Yeah, sorry. It's one of those. I don't have enough knowledge, but by the sounds of it, I don't think I'd like it.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah. So, the last one for this week, number 57 is Evola, which I am looking up as we speak. Okay, Julius Evola. Okay, he lived from 1898 to 1974. Italian philosopher, poet, painter, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Oh!
No.
That's... Yeah. I immediately just like, nope. Let's see. He's been described as a fascist intellectual, a radical traditionalist, anti-egalitarian, anti-liberal, anti-democratic, and anti-popular, and as having been the leading philosopher of Europe's neo-fascist movement. So all of these neo-fascists probably stem from this asshole. Okay, so to put it into more modern terms, think of like your fucking Davis Arini's, for example, is the closest I can think of. So yeah, fuck him.
Yep.
The anti-Semitism alone, fuck him.
Yep.
Fuck this dude.
Fuck him with a cactus.
Yeah, he sounds like he contributed negative things to society, and I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah.
Go find his grave and piss on it. Or fuck that, have an orgy on it. Because see, that's the thing. It's like most of the usual disrespect is what? Pee, right? Well, what's more disrespective than more bodily fluids?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Although I will say, wherever I'm buried, you are allowed to have orgies on my grave. It will not disrespect me. So,
Yeah.
and that's how you take care of that. So, did we all learn about this fucker at the same time, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we learned something today. Yay!
I learned the thing.
Yes. Oh, God. Those four were heavy. Looking at the next four, too. Oh, lordy. Oh, no.
Well, I'm not here for next week, so like, okay.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next. Oh, I'm looking at the next ones. Oh, no. And Rosen's going to be on for that one. Oh, no. Rosen, I'm sorry in advance.
Oh, boy.
I'll look at the list later and go, oh, yep. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, so with that is going to take us to our break. And when we come back, oh boy. Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/gomer21xx, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/gomer21xx. Here we are in the break segment, taking a break from the heavy shit we just talked about. And we've got more heavy shit to go. But I am going to mention this in my break segment because if my timeline is correct and still in my brain like it's supposed to be, this past week was the birthday of George Carlin, one of the greatest comedians ever. You know, pioneered a lot of stuff, was one of the guys that was just out there doing the work. He did a lot of acting. Some of us know him from like Bill and Ted, or from other, like, I think what is it? The one Kevin Smith movie, Dogma, I think. I think he was in one of the scary movies. He was also in Tarzan 2. But most of us would most likely remember him for his stand-up, which he did until he died. And it has been, as of this year, it'll have been 12 years since he passed. And this birthday would have been his, let's see, he was 71 when he died, 81, 82, it's about 82 or 83. He would have been in his 80s by now, if my math is correct. And a lot of people would be wondering, you know, what would he say about all of this bullshit, you know? How much railing would he have done on stage in terms of all this bullshit? And that leads me into what I'm going to be talking about for this segment. When his birthday came around this year, the National Comedy Center out of Jamestown, New York, I think I say later on in the main show it's New Jersey, but it's close enough to where I guess it counts for both. It is basically a comedy museum where it's basically a history of comedy just as a whole. And they have a section specifically for Carlin. And you can look through all of his old notes and see what was going through his mind at any time. Like the dude, seriously, he worked his ass off to bring you guys the thoughts and the laughter that he did. Just the amount of notes that are there. And the site is anywhere.comedycenter.org. Because now, of course, you know, as we're recording this, it's coronavirus time, so we can't just make a day trip up there. Not that you could from Florida, but you get the idea. We can't just make a trek out there. But they do have virtual tours and virtual things. The site itself, you know, you do have like a little access upgrade, you know, to unlock, you know, like more stuff that you could most likely see in the museum. And as I also mentioned later on in the episode, that overall comics aren't paid the best. The ones that you see that are more well off or what have you, you know, like your Louis Blacks, your Bill Engvalls, your Louis C.K.'s, etc. They made a lot of money doing things other than just pure stand-up. And in fairness, this comedy center is about all kinds of comedy, not just your stand-up. So of course they charge for like an upgrade, you know, access upgrades and all of that. So if you want to access some of the other stuff, you do have to pay a little fee, just like pay to go into their museum, because they got to keep the lights on. So it's understandable. But yeah, but I also bring it up, not just to pimp them out, which I really do believe in, but they also have an hour and a half video from their Laughing Matters series, and it's on George Carlin's legacy. And they live streamed it on his birthday, and I was very, very happy to be able to sit and watch that live with Lewis Black, Carlin's daughter Kelly, and a whole bunch of other comics coming together and just reminiscing about George, how he influenced them, how he inspired them, how they admired him, which it was a very touching tribute. And of course, it's a comedy thing. There's going to be laughs in there, and it kind of it reinvigorated something in my own brain as well when it comes to like my own comedy, and or lack thereof, if you want to say that. And I need to get into the habit, if I want to do any sort of comedy, especially if I want to do like stand up or whatever, write more shit down. That's easier said than done. That's one of the biggest takeaways that I got from it. Beyond the tribute and everything, is if you're going to be a comic, write your shit down. You'll have it for later. And that's how Carlin did his thing. But yeah, it's free to watch, and I highly recommend it. Again, it's anywhere.comedycenter.org. The link will be in the doobly-doo for this episode as well. And seriously, if you like studying comedy, whether it's, you find the stuff behind the comedy, like right now I'm looking at their front page, and in the videos that are marked free, there's the Carlin's Legacy video. Then you got Healing Power, Stand-Up Styles, Internet Humor, the USO, Physical Humor, and Monologues. All of them are marked free. And I'm assuming this welcome one is also free. It's not marked as such, but it's also a welcome video. If you put the welcome video behind a paywall, that's not feeling very welcome. But yeah, again, and if you want the access to the other stuff that you would likely see in the museum, then it's like $20. And even here, they say that you get the exclusive comedy content, archival highlights, gift access for a friend or family member, and an admission ticket to visit the museum when they reopen. All for $20. Now, granted, we would have to still get out there, but yeah. But yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on getting one yet, but I probably will at some point after this recording. And this is probably one of the more rambly ones that I've done lately. But again, it's for a good cause. So if you're a student of comedy, or you just like comedy and you're fascinated by it and the stuff behind it, anywhere.comedycenter.org, your place to go. Again, the Carlin's Legacy video, it's almost an hour and a half. Check it out, especially if you're a big fan of Carlin. So yeah. So with that, we are going to get back to the rest of the show. And yeah, I am so sorry for how heavy this is. Oh, fuck. And we are back from our break. And this has been a week because a little funny little thing. When I went to break this time, I didn't do my usual thing and threw everybody else off. But it happens. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I try to telegraph my things. I don't always do well. So, but while we were on our break, there's like everybody on the Twitter sphere has been tweeting about this, and I'm looking at it from AOC's Twitter directly. Even though I think the one that Rosen posted in his server was from a different person, but the Roe of Roe v. Wade, as has been described, her real name was Norma McCorvey, also known as Jane Roe. She she revealed on her deathbed that she was paid by right-wing operatives to flip her stance on reproductive rights, as tweeted out by AOC. So, yeah, she was basically anti-woman for pay. And they say, oh, don't speak ill of the dead, but fuck her. I was like, no, you are no better. She was no better than Mitch McConnell and Mike Pence, in that her scruples and her morals are for sale. Now, I'm pragmatic to a point. Like, again, I've mentioned it before. I'll rail against Wall Street while still owning, buying stocks and investing in those. But I do that for, pragmatism, because at the very least, it's money stored away and it can gain some sort of interest of some sort, better than you could at a bank. More volatile, but... And I also fully understand that not everybody can do this, even though I really wish everybody could. So, and again, it's all full disclosure on my end. That being said, I am not going to be some sort of paid-for mouthpiece for some Wall Street fat cat, or for anything else that goes against my core beliefs. All right? So I did that to and again, I do that. I say all this to qualify my stance that this woman, this Norma McCorvey woman, fuck you. Glad you're dead. Okay. Maybe saying glad you're dead is a bit harsh at this point, or maybe not. I don't know. Still, she had the scruples of Mike Pence. That is to say, anti-woman for pay, and that's how I'm calling it. It's not just pro-life for pay. It's not just being going against reproductive rights for pay. She's anti-woman for pay because I am a student of the late great George Carlin, who I think actually, you know what? This is going to be a weird time travel thing, because during this particular break, I actually talk about the this like comedy museum that's in New Jersey. The physical place is in New Jersey, but obviously you can't have people going to museum during Corona times. So they have a virtual thing set up. You can pay some money. You can look at some of the stuff that's behind the paywall. They do have some free stuff you can look at too. So it's not like everything's behind a paywall. And this is understandable from my perspective, because as a whole, comics don't really make a lot of money. Some make better money than others, sure. And the ones that have made a whole shit ton of money have done it doing other things. Like your Louis C.K.'s, he's made a lot of money because he had a successful television series. Or Tim Allen, because he's a successful actor in movies and his own TV shows. So it's not just from comedy. But
Eddie Izzard actually owns his production company.
There you go. But, well, by and large, comedians, don't have a lot of money to throw around. Plus, it's for a good cause, and it's for, just like having a place where you can have like the history of comedy. I believe, yes, it is called the National Comedy Center. And again, I talked about it a little bit in the break, but I wanted to mention it here again because, yeah, it's that important. Time travel shenanigans. Because, fun fact, my co-hosts don't hear when I record the segment, so if they listen back to episodes, they get to hear it as fresh as you guys. So,
and full disclosure, I don't listen to the shows that I'm in, so I don't get to hear any of them. Yeah.
Well, you get to hear maybe a third of them.
Yeah. I won't get to hear this one.
Yeah. That's fair enough. And I will fully admit I am a little stalling because this first news story is holy shit. Oh, strap in, folks. Gird thy loins. And while this first one is long, I am going to actively cut it down as I go along because there's a bunch of info that. Oh, okay. So. And I also want to say thank you, Mel Paradise, for sharing this on your Twitter. You gave me material. Yay! She is good people. Her link is in the doobly-doo. So anyway, a deadly attack at a Toronto erotic massage parlor 3 months ago is now being treated as an act of terrorism after police allegedly uncovered evidence it was inspired by misogynist incel ideology. Charges against the suspect, accused of carrying out the February 24th stabbing attack, which killed a woman and injured another, were updated in court on Tuesday to murder terrorist activity. The suspect, who cannot be named because he is a minor, was also charged with terrorism for the alleged attempted murder of the woman who survived. He was already facing first-degree and attempted murder charges, but the development means police believe the incident was terrorism-related. In a joint statement, the RCMP and Toronto Police Service said their investigation had determined the attack was inspired by the ideologically motivated violent extremist, or IMVE, movement, commonly known as incel, which I have to say, incel is in all caps in this article, and that's just it's true, but it's formatted weirdly for me. As a result, federal and provincial attorney generals, I thought it was attorneys general, either way, have considered to commence terrorism proceedings, alleging that the murder was terrorist activity and the attempted murder was terrorist activity. So basically, what happened was this misogynistic, super entitled, woman-hating terrorist, because let's face it, that's what he is, decided that, oh, I'm not getting pussy. Women have to die. Women aren't throwing themselves at me. They have to die. Instead of being introspective and working on yourself, no, he just has to go kill other people. And I'm willing to bet if certain other people, maybe in our government, heard this, they would be lauding this kid. They would be, at least in private. Because remember, we have the same president who said of the Charlottesville attacks a few years ago, there are fine people on both sides. When one of the sides was literal Nazis! Oh, just goddamn. Oh, fucking hell. And the article goes on to mention, like that one asshole a few years ago, Elliot Rodger, who went on a killing spree because he couldn't get his dick wet. Probably because he was a creep. And, and how people were inspired by him. Look, if you're inspired by a dick face like Elliot Rodger or this kid that got put in prison is now facing terrorism charges, which the article does note that this is I think the first time Canada's anti-terrorism law has been used to prosecute an act of violence by a suspect who was not an Islamist extremist.
Wow.
It's like, okay then. I mean, even we have better track records than that.
It keeps referring to him as a minor, which is fair enough, but minors anywhere up to 17, so does it specify an age?
I don't... Oh, they do later on.
Okay.
I believe, 17-year-old. Yeah. And they...
So he's going to big boy jail soon. Yeah.
And as I mentioned, the article does bear out that he was familiar with the previous Toronto van attacker, which the article also talks about. I'm not going to get into here. And the author of the Incel Manifesto, who, that Elliot Rodger asshole. Because people like that, they just... this is one of those people. I'm glad Elliot Rodger is dead. Fuck him. I wish this whole incel thing, as it is now, would just die. And that guys, and believe me, it's typically guys, would just get over themselves and realize, hey, maybe I need to work on myself and be a better person. And I will admit, I've been to where some of these guys are. Not as dark, but I've understood the feeling of, oh, nobody wants to have sex with me, or oh, nobody wants to be with me, or what have you, and oh, it's all their fault, blah 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 blah. But I've gotten over that, in part because of self-reflection, introspection, and knowing people who have generally been very good friends to me and are willing to say, hey, asshole, that's not cool. And the more these incels get all violent and everything, I feel like the less that other people are going to want to call them out for fear of, murder, which that's not good either, because we need what guys like this need, these incels, what they need is they need to introspect, look inside themselves. I know I'm being a broken record, but it's just that goddamn important. Look inside, introspect, and surround themselves with people who will call them out on their bullshit. Not these 4chan motherfuckers who are going to be like, oh yeah, you're right, no. You gotta learn that it's not about whether or not you get your dick wet. And if you're listening to people like those on Return of Kings, then what the fuck is wrong with you? Because let me tell you something. If you want to believe in the whole alpha male thing or what have you, when there are no other women to subjugate, if you ever get that far, which you're not getting that far unless you go through me and millions of others, then who's to say that the people in power you look up to, like your Davis Arinis or your fucking Roosh V's or what have you, how do you know they're not going to turn against you?
Mm-hmm.
So, if for no other reason than your own self-preservation, be better. Just be better. Women are not your fuck toys. You can pay a woman to have sex with you, but, that doesn't make her a fuck toy. And it does not lower her self-worth. Don't think I forgot. Don't think I'm not going to bring up, at least for a moment, that one asshole on Twitter who would buy... He would go and buy photo sets from women on OnlyFans, like sex workers on OnlyFans, and then send those pictures to their dads.
What the fuck?
Exactly!
Oh, that's a whole thing. Oh, that is a whole thing.
Yeah.
Again, Harry on the floor.
Yeah. So yeah. It's the same kind of person that this whole incel thing breeds, is a whole bunch of guys who think that women should be this particular way and they're not, so fuck them. Michelle, you are a woman. We have established this. You take it first.
Okay. First of all, I must admit a slight confusion because when I saw a Toronto thing, I thought it was about the shooting incident. I didn't read ahead. I wasn't aware of this stabbing incident to begin with, so big yikes.
Yeah.
So is that too? Was the shooting also in Toronto? Oh, that was further north, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
It was a bus attack.
Yeah, mosque
attack.
attack.
Bus attack in Toronto. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I apologize to Canada. I got my cities mixed up, and I'm sorry you've had this shit going on.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is 17. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's ignore the fact that he's a complete fucktard who was following and listening to the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
He has his entire life ahead of him, and he's just screwed it up.
Yep.
He has just thrown it away because his pee-pee hasn't got wet yet.
Yeah.
It's like, and all right. I mean, I know Gomer's mentioned this before. He's quite sexually active. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 21, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's no bad. Everyone grows and develops at different rates, and if I have no idea what this kid looks like, I don't know. He might be quite a good-looking kid. He might be slightly awkward, but so what? You'll grow up. I mean, if this was I feel bad for saying this, but if this was America, I kind of understand it more. But I thought Canada at least had a better education system. That they had better support systems in place. That that young people could get help or have better or less social stigmas about certain things. Like if you, I've told this story before, but I think it got cut, and I'm going to give the short version. When I was not much more than 12. There were girls go around my school saying, "Oh, virgin socks," if you had your socks pulled up all the way. And I just remember thinking, but I'm 12. I am a virgin. Why is this a thing? So I can see how if he's getting that kind of social pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But no, women are not your toys. You're not entitled to a woman or any person. Like even this is kind of going to go to a slightly different conversation. But even in the context of an established relationship, rape is still a thing.
Yeah.
No means no, regardless of how long you've known the person. So for them to think they're entitled to people they haven't even met, fuck them. I mean, I am kind of sorry for them that he has screwed up his life this badly at this age. But fuck him.
Yeah.
It's just no.
Yes, God.
I got nothing else.
Yeah. Scully, what do you got?
Okay, yeah, fuck him. But also, this incel shit needs to be shut down, because what these motherfuckers are doing, they are radicalizing people into this... I mean, they're radicalizing vulnerable young men into this extreme ideology, and, this is what happens. It's happened 4 damn times already. The Elliot Rodger thing, the attack in Toronto, that one girl who got beheaded by that incel.
Yeah.
And no, that's a whole other can of worms. I don't even want to talk about it. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's an understatement. And these motherfuckers are scary. Like, eyebrows, funny say the darndest things sometimes, and often they'll have shit from, like, incel boards posted. The shit I have seen on there, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's some of the most vile shit I've ever read, and that's saying something.
Oh, yeah. And you brought up the site Fun to Say the Darndest Things. Fun fact, I used to be a member over on their boards, like, a long damn time ago. That is how I met Ari Drake, back when he was under a different name. That's how I met my friend Vi. I think I may have brought her up a couple of times. I think she's been on the show under Axiom. Just went with a different name on that one. And also, of all people, Diamanda Hagen.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. But, yeah. Had to throw that in there because we had to lighten it up. Holy fuck!
Yeah.
God damn. So, all right. Our next story. Let me just get it out of the way now. You're gonna need 2 shots because both of these next ones are out of Florida.
Woo-hoo.
So, and they are relatively lighter. So, first one is out of Brevard County. A Florida woman who kept trying to randomly kiss strangers at a local bar repeatedly called 911 to complain about the business not practicing coronavirus social distancing guidelines, according to the Melbourne Police Department. Let me repeat that. Woman who kept trying to randomly kiss strangers kept calling 911 to complain about the business not practicing coronavirus social distancing guidelines. Bitch, you are getting in people's faces, literally. If anybody is not practicing the social distancing guidelines, it's you. Like...
Why was she... What was the context?
Okay.
She was going up and kissing people, why?
Alright, police said Audra Adams, 32, called 911 a total of 5 times from Monkey Bar and Grill in India Atlantic. Bleh. That's like Indiana Atlantic Ocean. Which is open, serving both food and drinks, as is allowed under Phase 1 of reopening Florida. During the 4th time she called, officers were already at the business, and on the 5th times, officers were speaking to her, records show. So she tried to call while she was talking with the cops. She had to have been drunk. The owner of the bar said Adams was inside trying to kiss random customers, and after multiple people complained, he asked her to leave, but she initially argued and refused until she eventually made her way out the front door, according to the affidavit. The New York City Health Department reports that COVID-19 can be spread through kissing, so that and any other close contact with anyone outside the household should be avoided. That's right, folks. Smoochy smoochy, sicky sicky. That sounds weird. Police said that Adams left the bar but refused to leave the parking lot even after she was told about the trespassing warning, telling officers, "I'll sit in the parking lot all night." When asked about why she called 911 so many times, she said the bar was not following health guidelines intended to stop the spread of coronavirus, records show. Police said Adams repeatedly tried to pull away as she was being escorted to the patrol vehicle. He was arrested on charges of trespassing after warning, disorderly conduct, resisting an officer without violence, and misuse of a 911 system. Again, if anybody was violating the social distancing guidelines, it was you, Miss Adams. It was you. All right? And I'm willing to bet she was drunk. Because I don't know many people who would go up and try and kiss random strangers on pure air. There's just, I'm not saying it can't happen or it doesn't. I'm just saying it's very unlikely.
I'm an affectionate drunk, but even then, with people I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, goddamn. I mean, it's like, kissing is fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's fun. But I know better than to go kiss a random stranger, even if I really, really want to. It's like, you don't do that.
No, tell a lie. I was clubbing one time, and we had free vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really drunk. And I think I probably did try and go up to a couple of randos, but they would also have been drunk. And one I did manage to get a random kiss out of. Another one sort of pushed me away. I was like, all right, fair enough, and just staggered off into the next person.
Yeah.
So I have randomly kissed strangers, but I was a lot younger, and I don't think I've ever been that drunk since.
Yeah. I mean, hell, the last time... Okay, the closest I ever come to that while being shit-faced drunk is actually confessing feelings for other people that I also have feelings for. And before anybody asks, hey, don't you have a girlfriend? We're non-monogamous. It's okay. And she even celebrates with me. So sweet. So we're good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add to this one, Scolipendra?
Okay, freaking...
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Oh, God, I'm just looking at this article. Yeah, she definitely looks like someone who drinks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That does not look 32. That looks a bit older. Looks like someone who's... I think this person might be an alcoholic. But also, I'm reminded of that, you know that Who Shot Hamilton meme? Or Who Shot Hannibal meme? Let me find the friggin'... I'll have to put... It's a kind of a popular meme format. Let me find it.
Oh, is that the one with the guy shooting the guy in the background and then turns to the audience? It's like, how could they have done this or whatever?
Yes, that one.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about.
That's what I'm reminded of.
Yeah. I never knew the name of it. I just saw it around and was like, oh, okay. But goddamn. So another Florida one, and this one's going to piss off people. I know this already. Oh, God. Out of Hawthorne, Florida. A Florida woman set fire to a converted woodshed that another woman was living in following an argument over a missing towel, authorities said. It's a towel. Robin Hamilton, 57, was arrested shortly after Saturday's fire behind a Hawthorne trailer home, the Gainesville Sun reported. A woman told the Alachua County deputies that she was renting the shed from Hamilton and living there with 2 dogs. The woman said Hamilton had been drunk and threatened to burn her out because of a missing towel that had sentimental value to Hamilton. And sentimental value aside, seriously, this is a towel. And even then, burning somebody's shit down is not a good thing. There are circumstances where it might be, but this ain't one. And I don't have the brain power to try and think up any that would be. About 20 minutes after the fight, the tenant said she smelled something burning and then saw smoke. The woman said she got out of bed, but her puppy fled under the furniture and died in the fire. So,
fuck you.
This person.
So yeah, Robin Hamilton of Hawthorne, Florida, fuck you. Not only did you literally burn your tenant's home down, you killed her puppy. You killed her puppy. Just, duh.
Choice words for people who are cruel to animals. Yeah.
Yeah. And, oh boy. Just, I'm not even that much of a dog person. I've been a little bit more since dating Becky. She has 4 dogs. And even I'm like, no. Motherfucker, no. Just no. And I can already imagine her reaction when she hears about this, whether it's through the show or whether I tell her later, because sometimes both happens.
I'd say warn her first.
Just, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But even with the warning, I know what her reaction is going to be. Benefits of dating for almost 6.5 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And quite honestly, I had a similar reaction when I first read it. It's like, no. Fuck this bitch. Scully, let you go first on this one.
Yeah, how much you want to bet this bitch was on meth? Oh, you know what? Actually, look at this. Look at her mugshot. Yeah, that's a meth head face. I don't mean to body shame, but yeah, that's a meth head face.
Yeah, although the article does say she had been drunk, so she was on something.
Drunk and meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, people. Michelle?
Fuck her. She killed a puppy. Fuck her.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
It's not even a good reason.
No.
Like, I mean, there is no good reason to kill an innocent animal, but at least have a better reason. Still don't do it, but it's property damage.
Yeah.
And the poor little... No, that papa must have been so scared.
Yeah. And now we've gone and drawn the heartstrings of everybody else, including my own. Let's be fair. We I've done it to all of us.
Yeah.
So we're right there with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But at least the last story, relatively lighter, because this, I swear I didn't do it on purpose, but after the incel story, I'm just now noticing every other news story I have in our file involves a woman being stupid. I did not plan this. That was unintentional. Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Which ties into this story out of Pittsburgh. Police in Pittsburgh say a homeless woman attacked a man's car because she received a prophecy from God urging her to throw bricks at white men. Police say a motorist caught 31-year-old Jasmine Fox throwing bricks at his car on Monday morning and chased her into an abandoned Roman Catholic school on the city's Carrick neighborhood. Police arrived and found her hiding in the school's locker room. Fox, who is white, was charged with propulsion of missiles, criminal mischief, and defiant trespass. Okay, I know they've got to put a legalese type of term to it, but the fact that they're calling bricks propulsion of missiles just amuses me for some reason. Because I hear propulsion of missiles, I'm thinking, what, she's literally throwing missiles at people? What? Little explosions like...
What, you have a friggin' rocket launcher that shoots missiles, bricks instead of missiles?
There you go. That would be kind of awesome. But...
yeah, it would.
Yeah. But just, wow. Police say she told them she was...
Projectiles!
Yeah.
They're projectiles!
Yeah.
They're fancy!
Yeah. Police say she told them that she received the prophecy telling her to attack white men with bricks. Faced a preliminary hearing. Well, she faced it a couple of days ago as of this recording. And online court records don't list an attorney for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just attacking random white men. I mean, okay, let's be, because I know somebody will probably complain. Obviously, it's not good you're attacking random strangers. Obviously.
However,
considering the amount of times in this country random black people have been attacked or killed for just being black or walking while black or what have you, or they're suspected of doing something, illegal and are executed by random racist vigilantes. I think of some of us white guys having Thricks thrown at us, or bricks thrown at us, as the American term for it.
Title.
We can take a few bricks from some random crazy white woman. We can take a few, okay? Because we have foisted this upon black people for literally generations. We can take a few limbs, all right? Ideally, nobody should be throwing bricks at anybody else, just without provocation, ideally. But we're not in that ideal world, so we can take our lumps. And I say this as a white person. I'm speaking for all white people at the moment. We can take the lumps. You take a lot on yourself on that one. Yes, I do. Michelle?
I mean, I don't condone, but I've had my moments.
Yeah.
Without getting into too many details, I have had flare-ups and angers and arguments where sometimes things have been thrown, but I threw them at the floor. In this particular case, it was these big candles, which I knew would break quite well, and I threw them at the floor, not the person, because I felt an expression of anger.
Yeah.
It's not good. I'm not saying that is good. However, there is nothing in this article suggesting that this woman was even angry about something, just that God said.
Yeah.
And I am reminded of the that line in The Simpsons where Marge is talking to her uncle, like, was it shoot them all and God sort them out? But let's never bring up that dark day again. But you brought it up. Never. That kind of what it reminded me of, like, shoot them all and let God sort them out. But no, just no.
Yeah.
Don't hit people with anything.
Yeah.
Genuinely, don't. Like I said, I recognise in myself that sometimes I have the anger, but I try and redirect it.
Mm-hmm.
Breakable things and the floor. It wasn't good. I wasn't proud of it, but at least I didn't physically harm another living person or creature.
Yeah. The way I see it is, and I'll admit I've had my own anger issues coming around, and sometimes they still flare up here and there. But the thing I have realized over the years, and I realized this at a very young age, that things by and large are replaceable. Walls can be repaired, windows can be repaired, computers can be replaced, that sort of thing. But people are very much harder to replace.
Yes.
We do not have the Tlilaxu Gola technology. We don't have that. So if you kill a person, that's it.
Yep.
And I say we don't have the Gola technology, and I just remembered that Barbara Streisand does have clones of her dead dogs. So Golas do exist in animal form. Yeah, and yes, that is big time Dune reference for anybody who is wondering. Wait, is he referencing that? Yes, he is. Scully, you got any thoughts?
Well, I mean, she's a homeless person. If she's hearing stuff from God, I mean, I'm guessing that she's schizophrenic or something. I hope she gets help.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's okay, right? I mean, I just hope she gets help.
Yeah.
Because, no one deserves to struggle with mental illness. I mean, so I do feel sorry for her, but damn, throwing bricks at people.
Yeah. And that is a good point that I neglected to bring up myself, that, yeah, she needs help. So, and this is why we have co-hosts, kids.
Yep.
So yeah, that is a little heavier on the stuff this week, but hopefully we've ended on a light enough note that it balances out. I hope so.
I was doing some editing on my phone to get rid of some old pictures while we were going on, and I have found some funnies. If you think that will help.
Okay.
All right.
What do you got?
Something's kind of me. Mentioned maybe you've heard it before. Son, what's that fancy beer mug on the mantle? Me. Well, that's your Uncle Frank. That's why everyone sees his remains. It was his favourite beer stein. He's always said it would be funny. Never got why. Son, so maybe he could be Frank in Stein? Me. Son of a bitch!
Oh, yes. Oh.
Two things today's youth need to know. 1, anything the government says is propaganda. 2, 99% of vegetables taste better roasted. You spelled boiled wrong. My apologies. Anything the government says is boiled. There's another one here. Today I learned that 23% of the crew aboard Christopher Columbus in Santa Maria was named Juan. That's nearly a 3-to-1 ratio. You son of a bitch.
Okay, so... Oh, I'm sorry. There was just one Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There is one I came across that our friend Jeff typed out in our memes and shit posting channel over on Rosen server. Some could swear they would hear his wife praise the gods in alphabetical order every night cunnilingus stopped by. Sometimes with tongues they knew nothing of.
I got another one. Some of these I found on Tumblr and that, but pizza shop workers took down an armed robber, but when the police took off his mask, they discovered he was their old boss. Comment underneath, what kind of Scooby-Doo shit is this?
Oh my god. Speaking of Scooby-Doo shit, did you see Aaron's thread on the Scooby-Doo stuff last night? I
haven't read it all yet, no. I know what I'm doing this morning.
Oh my god. For all of you who are not already following him, Shallow15, SHALLOW 15, go follow it and read his thread on his Scooby-Doo watch for last night. Oh my fucking god. And we were in a group call where he was making that too. And he was like, oh my god, I am going so low on this one, but I don't care!
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yes.
This one made me laugh as well. How to climb stairs in 6 simple steps. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. Step 5. Step 6.
Oh. All right. So on that note, we are going to get out of here for this week. Stick around if you're a patron. Stick around for the curtain call again. Go to patreon.com/Gomer21XX. For as little as $1 a month, you get all this really cool bonus shit and some stuff that's coming early. I do have a video that I've got in the can. I just need to add a couple of things to it. And then I'll make it available strictly for patrons, at least for right now, because I have discovered the wondrous world of video game randomizers. And not only do they have the universal Pokemon randomizer that you see some PokeTubers use for their challenge videos, but there's also one for Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, and the old NES Blaster Master, which I decided to try that one, and I got stuck. I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to say how. I got stuck. But if you're a patron of mine, you will be seeing that up there in the next few days. Whether I release that publicly, well, it's definitely not going to be anytime soon, because I am actually going to do a proper video where I don't fail and put that up before the outtakes go public. But I'm putting it up for patrons soon and first, because that's the order I recorded it in. So if you're a patron, look forward to that. And speaking of patrons, Scolipendra, where can we find you on the social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Scolipendra and on Tumblr at Scolipendra91.
Sweet. And Michelle, where could we find you?
You can find me on the YouTubes at Phoenix11. That's PHEONIX11. Same for Twitter. Basically unboxings, occasional reviews, which I need to get back into doing. Most of my reviews were me and my friend sitting in the car talking about the film we just saw at the cinema. Completely original. Actually, we did. I've done the joke before, but we called it original concept. I know certain persons are no longer fashionable anymore, but I still like that joke. I'm sticking with the title.
Yeah.
But obviously, we haven't been able to do that for a while.
Yeah.
So reviews, unboxings, general chit chat.
There you go. And as for me, you can find me most anywhere on the internet. That's the Twitters, the Tumblrs, the YouTubes, the Instagrams, at Gomer21XX. And my YouTube, I'm actually going to, over the next month or so, I'm going to actually try and branch it out a little bit. Because I've got my main YouTube channel. Then I've got the channel for Thespian Talk, which if you're watching this, you're watching it on its own channel. It's nice, isn't it? I need to work on that. But also need to branch out to like different things as well, just so I can have some channel diversity. I can have a main channel for one thing and then have another one for another thing. That's something that'll get all worked out. But for now, Gomer21XX is pretty much everywhere. This show also has its own Twitter, which I keep forgetting to plug, which is Thes Talk Show. And I actually need to remember to actually tweet out episodes on that feed instead of just one click and retweeting onto my main feed from the site, which is rtgomer.com. And I am so glad I was able to restore the Twitter cross-posting for that one, because that makes it so much easier to just go, oh, hey, updated. And of course, if you don't already know, Thespian Talk does have the Discord, which I believe that link should still be good in the doobly-doo. If you click it and it's not good, poke at me. I'll make sure you get a fresh one. And then I'll make sure I freshen it up on the doobly-doo as well. Oh, God. What else is there? There's a lot of stuff. And of course, if you like the title card art, and if you like the fact that, and if you like to get a good mask or whatever, title cards are done by Becky Hopkins, who is my sweet, lovable girlfriend of almost 6.5 years. Her links are in the doobly-doo, but if you're not looking at that, becky-hopkins.com is the one-stop shop for all of her stuff, including her artwork, her animations, and her own Patreon. You can do all that. And if you want a good mask, or you just want some pixel art that's from somebody that's not me, Mel Paradise, she does her own stuff. She does all sorts of that stuff. She's focusing more on masks because of the pandemic, and she just recently completed a 1,000 mask challenge, where she went and just made 1,000 masks. I even have one of them, and they are good. Like, seriously. But yeah, they're good, and they are in a good price range. So go and buy. And Mel, I know you're listening, so you're welcome. But I think that is it for everything I need to put out there. I should write it down. I really should. I mean, okay, technically I do. It's always in the doobly-doo, but I'm not looking at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a doof. I'm 90% himbo. So, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I love how she doesn't even deny it. Then again, I'm not even denying it, so. Anyway, thank you guys for listening and for bearing with us on this heavier than usual episode lately. Just, a lot of stuff that, I know I wanted to get out there. I'm it's good for everything to get out there. Yeah. So, from the bottom of my heart, thanks for sticking with us on this one. Hopefully next week will be a hell of a lot lighter in comparison. Still note some heavier stuff that happens, but only because it's important. Which is what I try and do. Hopefully we've balanced everything out well. If not, then we'll just try next week. Again, if you're a patron, stick around for the curtain call, which hopefully I will not put up a day or two before we record again. Hopefully I will put it up quicker this next time. I call it life getting in the way and beating me in the head. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening, and until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with Michelle and Scolipendra, signing off.
Bye.
Later.